open the meeting of the Board of Assessors, and we are being taped by the West Bridgewater Community TV. What do you got for us, John?
You don't have any appointments under my report.
A quick question, do we have somebody coming in on, a couple guys, I know it's executive on the attorney on that, on the one we're going to be going to trial on, and on the mapping, that hasn't,
Yeah, that's on my announcements.
okay, I'm
But
sorry.
I'll discuss.
Yeah, you mentioned that before, I'm sorry.
Yes, in your case, in executive. So the clerks will be attending a meeting in Randolph, an annual clerks meeting on September 17th. I'll cover the office
Okay,
that day. Scheduled a demonstration of the GIS mapping software for your next meeting,
okay,
September 18th at 6 p.m. I'm still debugging their programs, but I expect in 2 weeks it should be ready for a presentation.
did he give you a time frame on the presentation?
No, but I'll tell him you're sure.
You know, I've done those before, they could be, you know, sell the popcorn, you know? Yeah.
Excuse me, John, is the door supposed to be open?
Yes, the door should be open. Please, thank you.
Well, that's fine, John, yeah, on that.
And I don't have anything this evening for policy review. You have your mail folder, there's some invoices and warrants to be signed. And I don't have any meetings for you. So I think the only question is, are you prepared to discuss my request for vacation rollover or no?
At this time, no, I'm gonna table that.
Okay.
I'd like to table that. There were a couple things on that.
That's all I have for open session, Mr. Chairman. I request that the board take a roll call to go into executive session to discuss applications for abatement. Relative to Purpose 7, Mass General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 60, to review and discuss strategy of pending appellate tax board cases. Relative to Purposes 3 and 7, under Mass General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 60, because to do so in open session could have a detrimental effect on the board's litigating position, and you wouldn't have any executive session minutes to sign.
Okay.
Before we do that, I just have a couple questions about the GIS stuff. John, you had given me a couple of emails about ones of John Delano's concerns and Wayne's. Are both of their concerns being addressed?
Yes, I passed them along to the mapping company.
Okay. Because Wayne, and I don't know if you've talked to him, but he said that in the software that he looked at, the demo that we all got, that the center and the high school were still wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if that's correct or incorrect, but I've passed it on to the mapping company to look at that.
Okay. And because he said something about the layer being locked and whatever, and you said John Delano's bugs got passed on too. And when you sent us the original email, it said we had a 14-day window to review it. Was that just for when they would fix any bugs that we found?
Well, it was to expedite the process, but obviously, as I just said, I've come across some other bugs, so the period's still open if anybody wants to.
Did you, a question on that, maybe refer to what I'm not sure about the high school, but I've come across in, not several communities, but, you know, a few that on some of their layers, overlaying infrastructure, you know, either a road or on private property, say, or buildings. I've made it a point that on a couple of them, it seems like it's encroaching on the next parcel, but just the way they lay in that layer there, so you can't take that, you know, if you try to use that for a sideline requirement or such in a zoning matter, you can't really do that.
Absolutely not.
So you might, I don't know if it's their fault or the aerial, where they come from, their orientation, but I've seen that in more than one community, but when, like building 202, it appears to be, you know, a couple feet sitting on the abutting parcel, when in fact it's not even close, but that's just the way it got laid over. So that can be expected sometimes.
Absolutely. It's a matter of the manual maps that could be 50, 60 years old, integrated with the aerial photography, and
Right.
the term they use in that, the nomenclature is crabbing, because the plane is subject to winds and altitude.
That stuff can't be used for a formal decision or anything, just
Absolutely.
it's more informative.
We put a disclaimer on the assessors map that's
Sure,
for
yeah.
assessing purposes only.
Yeah. Just want to point it out, that can happen, something like that.
And just one other thing too, the other email from Wayne stated that maybe when we get this GIS person on board as a full-time employee, well, GIS IT person on board, that we can address more issues more timely at the local level.
Yeah.
That's good. So now, So that 14-day window that you were just using to expedite, that didn't have anything to do with, like, we only have a certain time frame to get them to make the changes before they start
Right.
charging us or anything?
Right.
So all these bugs were still under, or whatever our window is, to get them to make whatever adjustments at no cost.
Absolutely. I would say even once they put it up live, if we find something that they know should be changed, they'll change it. But that's my expectation.
Absolutely. I
But
couldn't-
can we
yeah.
just find out just to make sure, because like you said, we might find something out afterwards that they have incorrect, we
Yeah, I
shouldn't
think
have to pay
it says
for
that
it.
in the agreement, but I'll pull the agreement out.
All right, and I'm just curious, did you get to see the whole thing or work with it before the board signed a contract? A
Yes.
demo or anything?
Yes, the company gave a demonstration, I'm guessing, maybe a year ago. And the chief of police, the fire chief, the superintendent of the water department, I think the conservation agent was there, but I invited all the relevant department heads and they reviewed the demonstration at that time. That was pre-contract. So now that it's ready to go live, I want everybody to take one last look at it, because obviously it's better to have more sets of eyes on those things, and if somebody sees something that I don't see, we
Who
can
makes,
get it
who makes
fixed.
a decision on the given layers and something like that? Because some communities, for example, I find it in my business, for example, like the city of Newton, on their layers, they won't show meets and bounds. They do, that's intentional. I talked to somebody up there, so I know that you gotta pay for additional layers depending on, if it's wetlands or topographical or something. But is there a basic package that when we purchase that there's certain layers that come with that?
That's one reason why I recommended the company that you chose, is because they also have been doing the updates of the assessor's map.
Sure, yeah.
So they're more than likely to fix things on an annual basis in whatever other opportunity that we present to them.
Right.
But the Board of Assessors are in control of the base map, which is what all the other
Yes.
maps are laid on
Yes.
top of.
Right.
So no matter what the water department does, or the municipal maintenance department does, or the school system, those would be separate layers that would be
Right.
laid onto
Sure.
the base map. So
Okay.
we can maintain the integrity of the assessor's maps.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So in other words, if we have something not quite right, it's a domino effect, it would affect everybody?
Our map would stand alone. So for example, if the water department had all of the 6-inch mains laid out on their data layer, that would forever remain their data layer until they modified it. It could be laid onto the assessor's maps, but no matter what the assessor's maps had on them, they would not affect any other layers, and vice versa.
All
Right, absolutely, yeah. We're more concerned with the parcels and, the layover of easements, meets and bounds, building count and such.
We drive the system because we're generating tax revenue based on the assessor's maps.
Yeah.
So, recommended a motion. I don't know if a motion was made and seconded.
No.
No, I
To
still
go
had,
exec, I'm sorry.
no, I'm sorry, I still had a couple other questions, just from other stuff. Just a couple of questions over from a continuation of last meeting. I see Danielle is here, so I'm assuming that you checked the union contract
Yes.
and it's all, there's no
Yes.
problems with seniority or anything like that?
Correct. I spoke with the shop steward for the town hall union and had several conversations with her. And she is fully supportive of helping any employee get any additional time.
Yeah, oh no, that's fine, I just wanna make sure, because last time when Tammy was in here, there was a question over whether we were doing certain things in accordance with the contract, so I just wanna make sure.
I vetted it with the shop steward.
Okay, so that's all set, that's a good thing. And did we get all straightened out with the vacation thing with Tammy? Because she was concerned over the 5 days we did there.
I asked her to put her request in writing for the next 2 months, because as you know, we're getting into the tax billing, the
Yep.
tax rate season, tax rate setting season, and she submitted something yesterday, so I'll look it over.
All right, but after that meeting, when you had left, she wrote down the 2 days that she was looking for with an alternate, and I gave that paper to you. So she did give you some times.
She gave me 3 sets of times.
Right, but the ones that I handed to you that night, did that get resolved?
Yes.
Okay, so you were in compliance with whatever the contract about the 5 days if it's a no, I think it said.
Yeah, I think some people have misinterpreted the contract. I read the collective bargaining agreement from start to finish. And I have a slightly different opinion, but we're all set.
All right, no, I'm just following up, because that was, obviously that was a big part of our meeting. So we didn't know how that all ended or what was going on with it. And in the last meeting also, it was mentioned that FOIAs were sent into the office. Did those get all done and taken?
What were, sorry?
FOIAs, request for information?
Oh,
Because
public records request?
yeah,
I don't call it FOIAs. I think that's federal.
Freedom of Information Act.
Public records law. But anyway, yeah, I think there were 3 requests, and I believe 2 have been resolved, and the only outstanding one is waiting for a decision on my rolling for my vacation time. And I informed the individual that I'm waiting for the board to act on that. So I will send another email out to that individual to let that individual know the matter is still pending, the board's decision.
All right, and, I mean, obviously, we're not gonna discuss what the requests were, but I just think it would be.
Public information request.
All right, well, I mean, then we can discuss it, but I would just think it would be a nice idea if you get stuff like that that could some point impact the board, just to let us know.
Did I send you copies of them? I thought I did.
Nope.
I can forward them to you. I thought I did, but I can send them again, not a problem.
Yeah, no, that would be good, just so that way, just that we know, because at the last meeting, I was a little surprised when Deborah Cawley, and I think another resident was here, said he had sent one in too. So it was just a little surprising, that's all.
Well, it's administrative and I've handled them, but I can send you copies of them in public record. You can go to the town clerk's office and get a copy of it too.
No, you're right, I could, but if you could send it, that would be great. Right, and I think, since we're tabling the vacation stuff, then I think that takes care of most everything I had, because everything else was on the vacation stuff.
Right, I'll make a motion by roll call to go into executive session for the,
Wasn't the vacation stuff tabled last meeting?
It was tabled to take a vote.
It was, a vote was rescinded until the next meeting.
yeah, we're still working on it, so unfortunately, we don't have the final merits of it and what we're gonna do yet, so.
So you have to wait for someone to make a second to the motion, record and makes a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for the roll call, for the purpose of going into executive session. Assessor Bunker,
Yeah?
Smith,
Yes.
McCarthy, yes.
So are we